Hello, BookTube. This is Weekly Reads. I had a fantastic reading Saturday. I read Jujutsu Kaisen by Gege Akutami, volumes 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So, Jujutsu Kaisen is a manga series set in contemporary Japan. It's about a young man named Yuji Itadori who is a member of his school's occult club. They find a cursed object, the rotten finger of an evil sorcerer named Sukuna. A cursed spirit, a monster born out of negative human emotions, attacks the school searching for the cursed finger. A young Jujutsu sorcerer named Megumi engages the cursed spirit in battle. Yuji consumes the finger of Sukuna and joins the battle himself. Sukuna takes over, and Yuji is subdued by Megumi's teacher Gojo. Yuji is taken to the headquarters of the Jujutsu sorcerers and is set to be executed. But Gojo wins him a reprieve in order to eat the other remaining fingers of Sukuna. So once Sukuna is all inside Yuji's belly, then they'll kill him. Until then, Yuji is enrolled in the Tokyo campus of Jujutsu High, and he joins Megumi and another student, Nobara, as first-year students. They go on a number of missions and have a goodwill event with the sister school in Kyoto, and then Shibuya happens. So much of what I've been reading these past few volumes is part of an extended storyline called the Shibuya Incident, which started in volume 10 and has progressed through much of these. So basically, there are a group of cursed spirits who have joined forces with a human sorcerer named Geto, an exile from the Jujutsu Society, in order to create a world in which only cursed spirits exist as the true humans. So in order to enact their plan, they have to trap the strongest of the Jujutsu sorcerers, Gojo. So they attack the Shibuya district of Tokyo, luring Gojo into a trap. He is successfully trapped, and the rest of the Jujutsu sorcerers engage the cursed spirits and human allies in battle. The battles are many, and they're wonderfully realized. Some of the highlights of the battles include Yuji's fight with Choso, as well as Mahito in the conclusion. Also, there is a group fight with Magi, Neobito, and Nanami, and eventually Megumi against a cursed spirit named Dagon, who can control water. And this later, with Megumi taken out, another cursed spirit named Jogo attacks and decimates the three before he himself is attacked by possessed Yuji. So basically, once Gojo, is trapped. The cursed spirits go off on their own to basically decide what they want to do with Yuji. One of them, Mahito, wants to kill him. The other one, Jogo, wants to fully awaken Sukuna. And Choso wants to kill him for revenge for his brothers who died in the previous arc. So Gojo feeds Yuji a tremendous number of fingers, and that unleashes Sukuna for a good chunk of the arc, and it's devastating, absolutely devastating. Once the Shibuya arc is finished, and it is a brutal, of the main cast, many of them are maimed and taken off the board. Some of them are killed, and Yuji is left in wreck state because of what Sukuna did. In the aftermath of the Shibuya incident, Tokyo is devastated, and significant chunks of Japan are roped off by whatever it is that is impersonating Geto, the sorcerer ally of the cursed spirits, in what he's calling the culling game, in which a number of sorcerers from Japan's history are resurrected in the present day in an all-out battle for supremacy. The Jujutsu Society has pretty much folded and trying to cover their rear ends. The execution order for Yuji's been restored, and he has very few allies to fight the culling game. So it was just, I had a blast with these 8 volumes, and yeah, I cannot wait for volume 20, which I guess is a problem when I binge read these volumes. But at the same time, I love binge reading them because, like I've said several times, I am transported into the story. And I'm just gone from this world. So I wanted to show you some really neat scenes. Oh yeah, and there. And here's the fight between Yuji and Choso, who is a very fascinating character. That was absolutely fun. And then there's that. So yeah, it was fun, just really fun. And then so yeah, I'm really looking forward to more volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen. So there's that. So Saturday was basically the only good day of reading I had this week. The rest of the week was disappointing at best, depressing at worst. And that continued into today. If you watched my earlier video, you would have heard that Sunday through Thursday was horrid, and today was equally horrid for reading. So on Sunday, so last week I mentioned that I was what I had originally planned to do was read 4 volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen on Saturday and then 4 on Sunday, and then during the afternoon read some volumes of poetry. So I ended up just deciding to read all 8 volumes on Saturday and did poetry on Sunday. Although I only managed to read one collection because I did go over to my brother's for his Father's Day. And so, yeah. Anyway, so I did manage to read Head Off and Split by Nikky Finney. This Isabel Redemption. I read it, I think it was sometime last month, or maybe earlier this month, and didn't quite get on with it. And to be honest, I didn't get on with it this time either, although I did manage to finish the collection. I just really didn't connect with the collection. There were maybe 2 or 3 poems that worked for me, but the rest of the collection just really didn't. Then on Monday, I bailed on The Line of Beauty by Allan Hollinghurst. This is a gay novel from like 2003, 2004. It's set in 1983. It's about a young gay college graduate named Nick who has become friends with the son of a very wealthy family whose patriarch is a new member of parliament, and Nick has been asked to move in. Initially, temporarily, to watch the troubled daughter of the family while the rest of the family goes on vacation, but this arrangement becomes permanent over the course of a number of years as Nick embarks on a number of relationships, and eventually things go to hell in a handbasket. As I started this, it quickly became apparent that I really didn't want to read this. The opening did nothing for me. It didn't hook me. And yeah. And it's annoying it is annoying. Because I've had this book for 15 years or more. Because I've had it since at least 2006. Because I'm pretty sure I bought this in San Francisco. So it would have been in the fall of 2006 when I bought it. And I've never gotten around to it. I periodically play around with reading all of Hollinghurst's work over the course of a year or 6 months, since there's only 6 novels that he's published so far. But every time I try that, I bounce off of one of the earlier books, and I think honestly, Hollinghurst just really isn't for me. There are points when I can read one of his books. Recently, a year or so ago, I managed to do the Swimming Pool Library, but the other 2 books I bailed on. And there have been times when I've gone after the Swimming Pool Library that I bailed on it. So, yeah, I don't know. So I think I really need to think long and hard about some of the fiction I have in my collection and really determine why exactly are some of these books still in my collection, even though I've read them, but I haven't reread them in years or a decade or more. And do they really still need to be here? I don't know. So I need to think about that, but this depressed me. Equally depressing was The First Kingdom by Max Adams. This is a history of Britain after the Roman evacuation. So it covers, well, what I read of it, it covered the lacuna centuries between the Roman retreat from Britain and the sort of coming of the Anglo-Saxons. The book reads very much like the script of a documentary, although probably the documentary would have been better. It didn't do anything. I mean, it didn't do anything for me, but I managed to see it out through much of Wednesday. And then there was a particular chapter that I lost interest in. And I had hoped that I could come back on Thursday and continue, but it wasn't there. So I decided to bail on it. And about the best thing I can say about this book is that it did give me an idea. But that's about it. You go over there with your history. So today I decided I wanted to have another read of Time and Materials by Robert Haas. And it didn't go anywhere. I didn't like it. I remember last year when I read this in July that it was one of the few books that I finished and kind of liked, but I don't know, this reread it did nothing for me. I don't know. I don't know what is going on with me. I don't know if it's maybe I need to do other things besides exclusively reading, maybe refocus on writing and art, because because it's been going off the past few weeks that, like, my manga reading has been great, but everything else has been really disappointing and depressing, and I don't quite know what to do. So I don't know what this coming week is going to look like. I do have some ideas. This weekend I'll probably read some more manga. So my options are to read some volumes of The Seven Deadly Sins by Nakaba Suzuki, or some volumes of Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic by Shinobu Ohtaka, or some volumes of Demon Slayer by Koyoharu Gotouge. No, it's Gotouge. Some volumes of My Hero Academia by Kohei Horikoshi, or some volumes of Naruto by Masashi Kishimoto. And then over the course of the work week, so Monday through Friday, or at least through Thursday, Shotguns and Stagecoaches by John Boessenecker. This would be a bit of a nonfiction, a history contribution to June on the Range. So, yeah. Hopefully this week works out, and hopefully I can figure out something. I don't know. So anyway, videos for next week. There's, of course, the upcoming Historathon. So I might do a bit of a TBR for that. Of course, any tag videos that come up, or some tag necromancy. Then there's, of course, July's TBR, even though maybe I really shouldn't do that since my the TBRs I make don't turn out. They just don't. Or yeah, and then there's of course my June book haul, and maybe I might do a manga tour. I've been thinking about rearranging my collection a bit. I want to move my manga. I'm not really happy with its real estate, largely because I like this where Fairy Tail and Eden Zero are, but I have Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle and Full Metal Alchemist on the second shelf of the headboard bookcase, and it doesn't work. It's difficult to pull those books if I want to read them or do something with them. It's hard to get at them because there's a weird detail that makes it difficult to pull decently sized books from there. I mean, it's really meant, I think, for mass market paperbacks or maybe children's books. Although I don't know that for sure because I haven't really tried it that way. And then also the two wall shelves that it's rather ugly and discordant. And I want to move them, but I don't really have any good spaces to move them to. I was thinking of switching the manga with the history wall over here, but the problem is that I'm sorry, I'm starting to run out of space for. And we have about three shelves left for the history wall. So I really can't move them anywhere without some kind of overage. And then the science fiction and fantasy, I mean, gradually the manga is going to eat into that over on further down. So I'm not entirely sure what to do. So what I could do is instead of doing a rearrangement, I could just pull all of them down after I do the book haul and then just talk about the books and kind of clean up their space right now. I don't know. I'm going to think about it over the weekend and much of next week and decide what I want to do. And then, of course, also there will be weekly reads. So anyway, BookTube, that's the plan for next week. Hopefully you have a great weekend and rest of your evening. Hopefully I have the same. And until I see you next week, thank you and stay safe.